This is for the last 2 weeks now. The massive bipartisan gun control bill just got filed in the Senate, folks. We have all the dirt in this bill. We're breaking it down right now. Folks, get in here, get on board, and watch this video and sound off right away and tell us where you're watching from. This is happening live. This is happening as we speak. There is procedural votes happening. We've been watching it for the last half an hour. There is votes happening right now on the Senate floor to advance this bill. The bill number, we have it handy here. It is S2938. It is a massive attack on your gun rights. We're going to break the bill down for you in detail, and we're going to tell you which Republicans have already tonight voted to advance this bill. I see comments already popping up. Chris, put them on the screen perhaps when you get a chance, saying it will not survive the filibuster. That is wrong. That is wrong. We already have Republicans lining up behind this bill. You're going to hear those names tonight. We'll give you the information you guys have to know. But I'm telling you right now, this is an absolute red alert, red threat, and you guys have got to be engaged in this fight immediately. Here we go. Chris, I just put the comments on the screen so people can see where it's popping off on. And Chris is doing stuff right now on 14 different platforms, so we're going to be kind of going fast and furious here tonight. This is a disaster waiting to happen. There's at least 5 or 6 major pieces of gun control in here. Number one, we're going to break it down for you really fast. Number one, a massive $750 million bribe for state legislatures to enact red flag gun seizure bills. We're going to break this down for you momentarily, but that's number one. Number two, a 10-day waiting period on gun sales for Americans under the age of 21. A massive expansion of the Lautenberg domestic violence bill by reclassifying what a dating relationship means and who they can disarm by deeming you a domestic violence offender. It is huge. A huge expansion targeting juveniles of mental health records into the NICS system. You're going to hear about this. It is disgusting stuff. And a major change in what a straw purchase means. Again, another way to ensnare gun owners who make good faith mistakes or no mistakes, as the case may be, when it comes to who they eventually hand down or sell a firearm to. Folks, it is absolutely huge. We're breaking it down for you right now. But before you do anything else, Chris is dropping links in here right now. We spent the last half an hour furiously producing a fresh pre-written email campaign for all of our AFA members across America. It is hot. It is fresh. You need to contact your senators immediately and tell them to oppose this bill. What's the number, Chris? 2938.
2938.
Immediately. Take a moment. Do it right now. This has to happen immediately. The votes are literally happening on the procedural side today, right now, as we speak. And we're being told we're going to see floor action on this week. Chris?
Yeah, guys, just before Aaron keeps going into the bills here, I want everybody to just be looking on whatever page you're watching this on right now. We're going to be pinning links in the comment section. What they're doing tonight, what they're doing right now, and I just heard Portman's name called out an I on this procedural. So if you're watching Ohio, you just got screwed. But we're pinning links into the comment section right now. They're doing a procedural vote to proceed forward with this. So we have a couple of days. We might have 1 day. We might have 2 days. Might have 3 days. This is going to be over and done by the end of this week. So folks, we need constant manning of the guns, as it were, politically speaking, for the human impaired, for the next couple of days here, as we fight like hell to stop this thing. There's still time to do it. We just need to ratchet up pressure unlike we've ever done before. This is the biggest hot box we've ever been in. We've never been here before. We've always talked about this. It's happening now. These bastard traitors are screwing us over right now, and we got to fight like hell to stop them. So, Aaron, just keep on going through the
we'll break the bill down in a minute, but just for those who are watching, we have lots of members in some of our key states. Yes. Ohio, Chris mentioned Portman. He already voted yes on this bill tonight. Joni Ernst, that worthless trash that Chris used to sit right beside in the Iowa State Senate, that we used to work with in the Des Moines State Capitol, in the Iowa Capitol. Joni Ernst was a yes vote just moments ago.
Chuck Grassley was a no.
And Chuck Grassley, yeah, actually the right thing was a no. Hell, Marco Rubio was a no vote, for heaven's sakes. And we all know what a wuss he is. Joni Ernst, if you're in Iowa, was a yes vote on this bill. We did not have a chance to hear all of the rest of the votes before we went live tonight. My guess is that Roy Blunt is in here as well. McConnell was a yes vote. Romney was a yes vote. So for anybody who is saying that there's not going to be enough votes to get past 60, that is wrong. That is wrong. We may not be able to stop this, but we might. We don't know. We have to keep all the pressure possible on these people right now. Guys, whatever else you do, fire off those emails. We're going to give you all the breakdown right now on this bill, but I'm telling you guys, we need your involvement in this organization. You got to get involved today. Go to joinafa.org and get signed up right away. I have no qualms about saying this right now. We need your help today. There is nobody else fighting in D.C., in the halls, in the Capitol. Chris was there most of last week. I was there most of 2 weeks ago. Patrick Parsons is in the air right now, heading back to D.C. He's been there for almost a month straight. We need your help. We need your memberships. We need your support to keep this pressure on. It's a hell of a fight. Getting back to the details of this bill, we got 5 or 6 major points you have to hear about. And if we have time, by the way, we will read off all the names of folks who join up tonight on joinafa.org. So get signed up now, and we'll give you we'll sound off your names here later on here tonight. Give us 1 second here. Sorry, guys. We're texting with members of Congress and all kinds of staff. It's kind of going kind of nuts here right now. Okay, here's the bill. Again, red flag laws. What exactly does it do? That piece of that piece of trash, John Cornyn in Texas, has spent 5 days doing mental gymnastics trying to draft what he says is a due process honoring red flag law. In fact, it says right here, no state can pass a red flag law does not honor the Bill of Rights. Here's the problem. They can give you a lawyer in court. They can take away ex parte hearings. They can let you confront witnesses, bring your own evidence. They can do all of that. That's what this bill does. But folks, the reality, the bottom line, the real problem with red flag laws, as always, it takes away your guns before you've been convicted of a crime. Due process doesn't matter if there's no underlying crime. The whole idea of due process is that when you're charged with a crime, you then have due process rights. There is no crime here. There is no indictment here. There's not even an arrest here. There's no conviction. So they can say due process all they want. The ultimate due process violation is taking away your property, in this case, your guns, having never been convicted in court. It is insanity. That's the red flag bill.
And I just got to drill down in here, Aaron. You know, there's gonna be a flood of bullshit coming out of Congress, coming out of the fake news media. But they can sit here and say that there's going to be all these due process things in here, even the stuff that they're claiming, but they have no control over what the states will pass. They have no control. It's not like there's somebody from Congress that's going to be sitting there on the Ohio House floor in 2 years when they try to push this stuff through saying, you can't do that because we told you in D.C. that you can't do that. No, the freaking federal government can't tell the state legislatures to do and vice versa. So no matter what they say is in here, it's going to get thrown right out the freaking window the moment the money gets into the state accounts. And there will be absolutely no due process. We'll have ex parte hearings. We'll have total bullshit. You won't be able to face your accusers. None of what they're saying is happening in this bill will actually translate into the states. Period.
No, and the initial funding, just the initial funding, folks, $750 million. That's your money. That's my money. That's our money. Our own money being used to bribe the states into passing red flag laws. $750 million in just the first installment of money. That is the red flag section. This is their big goal right here. Red flag laws, taking away guns from. Look, I mean, Florida has already disarmed 8,000 people since they enacted red flag laws in 2018. 8,000 people in just a couple of years, and that's with no federal bribery money. If they put this federal money into these states, you're going to see countless Americans disarmed who never were convicted of a crime. Damn people like Joni Ernst and Rob Portman and Mitt Romney and Lindsey Graham and Roy Blunt and all these Republicans. This is absolutely disgusting stuff. That's number one. Number two, this one's huge. A 10-day waiting period on firearm sales to any American under the age of 21. Now, what they wanted to do was flat out ban gun sales to anybody under age 21. That was their goal. But the court has recently said you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. So these people have instead gone to a waiting period instead. But guys, this is an old expression: a right delayed is a right denied. And when you deny somebody the right to buy a firearm, you are taking away their ability to defend them. I mean, what would you think if you're a 20-year-old single woman in an apartment in downtown Atlanta in May and June of 2020? What the hell are you going to wait 10 days to buy a gun for? Hell, they were rioting in Des Moines, for heaven's sakes. That's the most peaceful town in the country. Minneapolis burned to the ground. St. Louis was a war zone. Columbus, Ohio, they raided the state capitol. They got in the building. They killed cops in Missouri. New York City was a wasteland, a war zone for a month.
Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, these places were on fire.
And you're going to sit there and say that a 20-year-old man, a 20-year-old woman in their apartment, they have to wait 10 days to buy a gun? This is madness. This will get people killed, raped, robbed, everything. And we're going to sit back and say, well, you're not old enough to defend yourself. Sorry, you can't have a firearm right now. That's number two. Now, this one here, number three, the Lautenberg stuff. A lot of people get squeamish about this, especially at the NRA. We don't. we never have.
No.
Lautenberg never should have been passed in the first place. Look, everybody knows that gun owners despise people who beat on their spouses. Everyone hates a person like that. No one wants to arm a violent person, but we have a threshold in this country. We have a threshold for a reason. Felony convictions lead to a person being disarmed. Misdemeanors do not do that. That's a hard line. If Chris, we're getting background audio here, just so you know.
I don't know what that is. Is that me or you?
I don't know, buddy. I'll kill some of my screens. maybe it doesn't
I'll come back.
But folks, if you let people take away your guns because of a misdemeanor conviction, that is going to be opened up all across the planet. It's never going to end. That's what this bill does, expanding the list of those who are prohibited to misdemeanor convictions. And how they do it, you're going to hate this. How they do it is by redefining what a freaking dating relationship means. Right now in America, Lautenberg only applies if you are married to somebody, were married to somebody, live with somebody, or have a child in common. That's what it means. This, however, is expanded dramatically, and they literally say, we're not going to define what a dating relationship means. We're going to let independent judges make a decision, and they can do it based on the following criteria: the length of your relationship, the nature of your relationship, the frequency of your relationship, and the type of your relationship. So, Chris, we were talking about this before we went live. I mean, if you dated a girl, if you went out and saw Top Gun Maverick, a month ago, and it doesn't work out, and you guys, break it up.
Because she hated the movie.
Because she hated the movie. Can she have your guns taken away? Can Lautenberg apply to that? What happens if you had a situation you were involved with somebody in college, and you slept together one time, bad weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Is that it?
The problem is they're leaving this crap. They're leaving the decisions on this stuff up to the courts, up to these liberal prick radicalized judges who no longer pursue justice. They pursue their worldviews, their agendas. They are activist judges. We see them legislating from the bench all the freaking time. That's the problem here. There is no clear course of justice in this legislation whatsoever.
So the entire idea here and everything they're doing is to expand the list of people they can disarm. And by reclassifying what a relationship means to a dating relationship, which is wide open, almost anybody could be disarmed under Lautenberg, even though they never committed a felony. I'm going to say it again. We're not sitting here saying we defend abusers. Nobody does. But that's what always makes most gun owners squeamish and most gun groups squeamish. We're not defending them, but by God, we will defend the idea that only a felony should get you disarmed, because once we go past that threshold and once we expand it to misdemeanors, there's no end, folks. There's no end. That's in this bill.
Well, and again, folks, this is always think of this gun control legislation in terms of a chassis. They're always trying to get something in there so that they can expand on it. I just saw somebody in the comments say that they got a DV because they spanked their kid and somebody turned them in. Folks, that's exactly where we're going here. They get the bill in, they get the law in place, and then they go to work on expanding the definitions. Okay. And that's where everything gets muddy, everything gets sticky. They phrase things in ways that make us feel like we have to be defensive when that's total bullshit. But again, it's going to beg the question, like, how do you prove that you didn't sleep with somebody 3 months ago if you just dated them? I mean, how can you prove this stuff? You know, and again, all this stuff is, no, you're not talking about a jury. You're talking about a liberal, radicalized judge. And as we've seen now in Florida, somebody just asked this question where that was, as we've seen now in Florida, where they've red flagged 8,000 people. The judges on these DV cases, they're going to be rubber stamping this stuff right and freaking left, like they do right now in divorce court and child custody court. They're going to do it for red flags. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We are handing over our system of checks and balances to the arbitrary decisions of a radicalized court bench. That is not justice. That's not freaking America.
Folks, we're going to keep breaking this bill down here. But before I do that, we'll do a quick roll call. Folks, get involved in this fight today. Join AFA.org. Join the fight for your freedom. It is raging. It is hot. We need your involvement right now. Big shout out to Lewis, who joined up moments ago in Nutley, New Jersey. We appreciate that. We've got Robin in Chillicothe, Ohio. Been there many times. You got Charles in Patton, Missouri. Just joined up at joinafa.org. You got Dan. I know Dan in Boise, Idaho. Good to see you, Dan. We got William in New Windsor, Maryland. Thank you for joining the fight, guys. We'll keep reading off names tonight. But first, we have to get back to this bill. That's the top three things. But here, if you thought that was bad, folks, this gets really nasty now, because next they're going to incorporate the criminal and mental health records of juveniles into NICS. Now, on the cusp, you might say, well, I don't want to have somebody who's crazy having a gun. No kidding. Nobody does. That's not the point. They're going to take kindergartners, second graders, fifth graders, 12th graders up to high school. Anytime Johnny talks to somebody at school and says, man, I bombed that test, I got an F, what's the point? I just don't care anymore, like some dramatic kid will do, boom, that person is suicidal. That person goes in NICS. That person can't own a gun ever again the rest of their life. Maybe their third grade sweetheart dumped them on the damn playground. Sorry, I don't love you anymore. Same thing. You tell a counselor in school that your girlfriend dumped you. You're 8 years old. You're 12 years old. You're 14 years old. And you say, I just don't care anymore. Boom. You're screwed for life.
Or maybe you go to your school counselor, and maybe when you were 6 or 7 years old, they allowed you to make your own decisions and decide what gender you wanted to be. And they let you take gender blockers, or maybe your woke parents did not parent you and gave you gender blockers, and maybe you turned 13 years old and you realized that was some complete and total BS, and now you feel like crap, and now you feel betrayed, and maybe you go to your school counselor and say what scumbags they were, what scumbags all of you were for letting this happen to me.
Yeah.
Boom, you're on it. And folks, I want to draw your attention to another thing, and this is happening in every single state across America now. We just shut it down in Pennsylvania this last week, but there's a bill now that's being pushed by gun control organizations like Sandy Hook Promise, Moms Demand Action, that funds this entire brand new mental health system for all school kids in government schools, and it creates a mental health record for each and every student in America. Okay. And so you're going to have school counselors, not psychiatrists, even though those people are increasingly insane. But they're going to have school counselors sitting down doing these assessments of each and every school child. And each kid is going to get a mental health record that follows them for the rest of their lives. Couple that with this massive expansion of including juvenile mental health records into the NIC system, and you will literally have a situation where millions and millions of people, once they reach a legal age, which they're increasingly raising, once they reach a legal age, they will be categorically denied the right to own a firearm, purchase a firearm. This is nefarious. It's intentional. They've designed this system. They're designing this bill for the day that all of those states pass those pieces of legislation, folks.
I just want to make sure we're covering this clearly enough. Everything here can be massively expanded, and it will. That's the whole point. When the NRA laid down on Brady back in the 90s, now we have Brady being expanded in this bill right here. When they laid down on the Lautenberg bill in the 90s, now we have Lautenberg being expanded right here. Red flag laws will be immediately expanded after this is passed into law. Everything here is designed as a placeholder to be massively expanded. It's very simple. If and when Biden signs this, the next time there's a mass shooting, the next time it happens, they're going right back to the drawing board and say, how can we expand the shit we passed in the summer of 2022? That's what this is.
Well, in fact, Chuck Schumer said that exact thing on the Senate floor just before they went to this procedural vote. He's like, while this is not everything that we wanted, this is a good start. And I'd like to thank our colleagues, Chris Murphy, Kristen Sinema, Tom Tillis, and John Cornyn, those two Republican bastard traitors. But they're openly admitting what we've all known. This is only a starting point. The next time there's a shooting, they're right back at it.
Yeah, exactly. The last big thing here, folks, is it says they're going to redefine what a straw purchase is. Stephen McDonald, we've been breaking it down piece by piece here for the last little bit. You have to just kind of back up a little bit and watch this once we finish the video here tonight. Redefining straw purchase. We all know what a straw purchase is. Everyone knows what that means. It's when you buy a gun with the intention of giving it to somebody else to evade and bypass the NICS system. Every gunner knows what that is. We all despise that. Frankly, that's why I despise buying guns from dealers in the first place. I buy all my guns, private party transactions, for that very freaking reason. I'm not going to have my crap on a
buy them cheap and bury them deep, brothers.
Exactly. So what they're doing here, though, and this is the kind of crap that Chuck Grassley backed in years past, just to be clear on this, what they're doing here is redefining what a straw purchase means. And they're saying that anybody that you give a gun to that you know or should have known would use it to commit a felony, that person, you, the guy who transferred that gun, is facing 25 years in the federal penitentiary. Let's be clear on what this means. Because you might say, well, yeah, I don't want to see people giving out guns to criminals. No kidding. Only Eric Holder does stuff like that. Nobody watching tonight's video does stuff like that. But here's how that looks in the real world. The guy that helped Kyle Rittenhouse get his AR-15 in Wisconsin, had Kyle Rittenhouse been convicted of a felony and this law been on the books, then that guy who helped arm Kyle Rittenhouse will be facing 25 years in the federal penitentiary because a woke prosecutor convicted him of some BS felony when it should have been self-defense. And all of a sudden, you who helped that person get that firearm, you're on the hook for a 25-year ride in the federal penitentiary, folks. When you have prosecutors who work for trash like Merrick Garland calling the shots on this stuff, everything counts. Who knows what it means that you should have known? It's up to a federal prosecutor. And folks, when they get you and your case in front of a grand jury, you will be indicted. You will be facing federal charges for something that wasn't even a crime. That is the reality of should have known that a person would eventually use it to commit a felony. This is Minority Report on steroids with you facing 25 years in the federal penitentiary. This is a disaster, folks. Get involved immediately. Fire off your email. We're putting links all through the comment section right now. People are asking, multiple people, Shane here and others are saying we need to have a march in D.C. First, okay, we're not doing that, Shane. Here's the reason why.
Oh, no.
I get what you're thinking, man. Here's the deal. Number one, this bill may be voted on in both chambers as early as this weekend. So there's no time, number one. Number two, if gun owners had a rally right now in D.C., I mean, first of all, you can't carry a gun in D.C., so we're going to have all of America's best citizens come to the Capitol, come to D.C. unarmed and helpless in that crap hole town. And then for every solid American patriot, God-loving gun owner we have there, you're going to have 3 Fed boys there with their crew cuts doing their damnedest to make this into January 6th. And folks, it will be absolutely used as a weapon against gun owners and against Second Amendment. We will not be a part of that. Instead, do what Eric Campbell had said. I just fired off 100 emails over the last week. You should do it too. That's it. Make your voice heard. Get your name out there. Talk to your senators and tell them they better, by goodness, vote no on this. Eric Turkleson, says, what is the number of this bill? It is S2938. Eric, you might not even see it online. This is being voted on as we speak. As far as the cloture motion, the procedural motion, it's not even on congress.gov yet. This is happening in real time. You may not see it even online yet tonight, but that's what it does. If you're getting in here late, it's a massive red flag bill with a $750 million grant to bribe the states to do it. It's a waiting period for 10 days on all gun sales to Americans under the age of 21. It radically expands the Lautenberg Act by redefining what a relationship means. It targets our children and puts juvenile mental health records into the NICS system, and it redefines what a straw purchase means to ensnare countless gun owners again, to get people in the crosshairs of federal prosecutors who, of course, are being plied with and I think it was $1.5 billion of money to administer the NICS system, which means to prosecute violations of NICS.
I just ran some simple math here, Aaron. There's 21 states that already have some version of a red flag law. That means the remainder of the states will each be bribed by approximately $24.1 million a piece. Folks, we've said this again many times before. I'll say it again right now. You want to watch even Republicans get totally weak in the knees, and I can't even say even Republicans anymore. You want to watch rhino pieces of trash get weak in the knees, bribe them with federal money. Folks. This is exactly the entire goal behind this entire agenda here is to disarm their political opponents and federalize state law enforcement. That's the dog and pony show. That's why we're working so hard on SEPA in all these different states all across the country to freaking break that connection, because they want to federalize law enforcement all the way down to your local beat cop. And they want to do it because they're all, and by getting them all hooked on and beholden to federal money. That's the name of the game here. That's the carrot and the stick that they're using.
I want to answer some more questions on timing. Shane MacArthur says they're going to go on recess before it even hits the floor. They're going to kick the can down the road. We've been here before. Look, Shane, My
No.
man, that's wrong. That's not the case. Get on Google.
We hope that we wish that would be the
we
case.
were hoping for that
Shane's
for
an
the
awesome
last
OGO member, by the way.
Yeah, so just for clarity on the timing on this, the whole idea here, the bill was brokered over the last 4 or 5 days. It was unveiled at around Chris, 6:30 tonight.
Yeah.
And guys, it was
I'll
on
go
the
to the gym.
floor for its first procedural vote tonight. It probably concluded moments ago. It was happening still when we went live at 8:30. There's going to be a floor vote on this as early as Friday and Pelosi has or Thursday, and Pelosi's already announced that they will hold the House in session and go right through their break if necessary. So the timing on this will be unbelievably fast for what most Americans are used to. If you're a New Yorker, you know all about crap like this. Middle of the night bills, both chambers, you know what that means. But for most of us, seeing bills happen this quickly doesn't normally happen. That's what's going to happen here tonight and this week on this bill. So get involved in this fight. A lot of you guys are getting joined up tonight as members. We appreciate that very much. A couple of shout outs to some individual folks, some new members of AFA. Chris just joined up in New Carlisle, Ohio. We appreciate that.
That's the war horn for my buddy Chris. I know Chris. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, Chris, you got to pop it off again from my friend Thomas Tomerlin from Warrensburg, Missouri. I was texting with Thomas literally 10 minutes ago about this bill. Just a big renewal tonight from Thomas Tomlin, my good friend. Thank you for seeing it on here. Beverly from Plymouth, Ohio, just joined up. Thank you very much for that, Beverly. We got Fred in Oakdale, Pennsylvania, and the new as a member tonight at joinafa.org. Daniel, Blairsville, Georgia. Big night down in Georgia. The runoff taking place. A lot going on right now tonight for all of our Georgia members and our GGO nation down there. Ed and Tom's River, New Jersey just joined up right now tonight at joinafa.org. Thank you all. There's so many more names. Can't read all of them tonight. We'll do what we can, though. So keep it coming there. We'll keep you guys on our list. But guys, again, this is all about trying to expand the path for gun control going forward. I want to pause here for just a moment. Some of you might be thinking to yourself, look, what you just said, Aaron, was bad. This is bad stuff. But you know what? It's not an assault weapons ban. It's not a magazine ban. It's not universal background checks. It's not the other things that John Barnett, get the flip off our platform, my man, or we'll do it for you. Okay, getting back to this. Guys, this is not
bounce him.
This is not all of that, but here's the thing. This is intentional. It's how it always works. The left always pushes out there for all that they want. And then the Republicans and the conservatives occasionally stand up and fight, right? And then instead, the Democrats get half of what they want to get, not the whole thing. And people like gun owners or conservatives too often say, hey, that was a victory. We won. We stopped X, or we stopped Y. We stopped Z. No, folks, we didn't stop anything. If we don't watch out, they're on the verge of passing the biggest gun control bill in America since the early 90s. Does that dynamic make sense? They push for all this. They don't get all of it. They get this part here instead. And we sit back and say, oh, great, we stopped the worst of it. No, we lost ground. And then when the next shooting happens, they'll be right back there in our face going for everything else. This is a tried and true tactic. It is very intentional, and they have used this to take away everything. Look around at our country.
Just think back for the last 3 years, 4 years. Bump stock ban, done. They're working on the pistol brace ban. Fixed NICS, the massive NICS expansion that passed in 2018. Now we're right back here again, just blowing the hell out of that thing in size and scope of it. And what Aaron's talking about right here is absolutely true. Not only are they doing this nasty things now, but by creating the system where they can add all the kids and their records into the NICS system, they are laying the foundation here to be able to categorically deny millions of people their right to own a firearm without ever even have to go to freaking court. I mean, the first thing people will know about it is when they go to buy a firearm when they become of legal age. They are laying massive foundations here right now that are going to destroy people's gun rights for generations. So there's no small victory here to be gleaned out of the massive losses. There's no victory here.
No.
Just because they haven't thrown all these other massive things in here doesn't mean that we can breathe any kind of a sigh of relief. They are bludgeoning the Second Amendment to death as we speak right now.
It's a disaster, folks. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And I want to answer another question as well. A lot of guys are saying, where's the NRA? Where's the NRA? Okay, that's a good question. We'll give you guys the truth about this. So I got to be honest. Well, no, I wasn't shocked. 1 hour ago, for the first time in 3 weeks, the NRA finally did a presser and a Facebook post saying that they oppose this gun control bill. Now, sure, they're going to shop that out to all of their members, to everybody else, and try to say, yeah, see, we were opposed to this bill, folks. We have been in Capitol Hill and in D.C. Chris has, I have, Patrick has, our whole team off and on for the last month straight, talking to members of Congress, working on stopping this bill up and down the halls of the Rayburn bill, all of them. And the NRA was
U.S. senators
to be seen. I mean, you saw our videos. Louis Gohmert, Congressman Biggs, Congressman Massey, Congresswoman Miller, Congresswoman Green, working like crazy to stop this. Everyone told us the same thing. We haven't heard crap from the NRA in months.
They let this vacuum that was being dominated by the fake news media, by the Democrats, by these rhino Republicans. They let that vacuum go unanswered completely. They did not mobilize their members against this thing from the outset. You didn't have to sit here and wait for the damn bill to be dropped in our laps in order to read the text to know that this was going to be a nasty, massive gun control bill. So they created the environment. They created the silence that allowed people like A+ endorsed NRA rated John Cornyn to go around and whip up the votes to get this thing to move forward. They created the environment to let this happen. And only now, after they've given enough silence and cover to their people, that it looks like they've got enough votes maybe to pass it, now they come out dirty.
I hope that makes sense, folks. This is all intentional. It's all intentional. They said nothing for 3 weeks. The most critical 3 weeks in the fight to stop gun control in DC since red flags in 2018. I mean, absolutely AWOL. Let that sink in. So many people flooding them with cash. They did nothing. They said nothing. And we can get back to this later on, Chris, because you know what, folks? It's not just the NRA. There's a hell of a lot of groups out there who you can see right now, they're spending nothing on social media. They're spending nothing on digital ads, nothing on radio, nothing on TV. They take all that money and they do nothing to help stop this gun control threat. It is all a grift and a fundraising program. Disgusting stuff. Good to see my friend Doug Nickel commenting right now. The NRA is shit swamp. The NRA is the Dems and the GOP. Simple as that. Good to see you, Doug. Appreciate you being on board and your membership with AFA as well.
One entity that I'd really like to call out in this whole process is the National Shooting Sports Foundation. These are the scumbags that put on SHOT Show every year in Las Vegas. So I know that the whole gun rights, the gunny world, I should say, there's two different worlds there. There's gunny world, and then there's the real gun rights world. The two are not always the same, but everybody starts to go all broheme every year at SHOT Show and walk around and swagger around like they're all that in a bag of chips. But the NSSF gave cover and openly endorsed this stuff from the outset.
Yep.
From the outset. And they're the same scumbags who've been going all over the country in state legislatures trying to expand the NICS system. The NICS system is the system that they will use for total gun confiscation at some point down the road. So if you go to SHOT Show every year, just realize you guys are personally enriching and endorsing and putting money in the pockets of the entity that is sitting there providing cover to Chuck Schumer, Chris Murphy, Dick Blumenthal, Patrick Leahy, Tom Tillis, Richard Burr, all these scumbags, John Cornyn. Those are the people that deliberately have aided and abetted these domestic enemies of freedom.
I see Heath Gray here, my good friend from Dickens, Iowa. God, miss Dickens. Heath, want to make sure you know, man, Joni Ernst just voted yes on this bill on the procedural vote. It happened just the last half an hour ago on the Senate floor. Chuck Grassley was a good vote in this case, but Joni effed us over moments ago on the floor.
What a loser
of the Senate, guys. Bad stuff. A lot of guys and gals are asking for a quick recap on the bill. I'll do that here momentarily. But again, guys, sign up today. JoinAFA.org. Get involved in this fight and send your fresh, brand new, hot emails going immediately to your members of Congress, both chambers, immediately, because this is going to be voted on in both chambers. We're being told by this weekend. It's going to go at lightning speed, folks. Terrible, terrible stuff. And again, what it does, a brief recap, it makes a massive $750 million bribe that it dangles in front of state legislatures across America, saying, hey, if you pass red flag laws in your state, we'll give you tens of millions of dollars in federal money to implement it. So it's red flag laws at the state level, number one. Number two, a 10-day waiting period, up to 10-day waiting period on gun sales to American citizens under the age of 21. Look, you can fight and die for your country. You can get your arm blown off. You can pay taxes, get married, have a job, have a career, have employees, have kids. But by God, you cannot defend yourself. You can't defend that life until you're 21. Number three, it expands the Lautenberg Act, which takes away guns from people with misdemeanor domestic violence convictions by redefining what a dating relationship means and how it works. And it dramatically expands who can attack you with that stuff in a court of law. And again, we hate spousal abusers. Everyone does. That's not the point.
And we want the person being abused to be able to go out and get a firearm. The problem is now that half of them won't be able to because of this bull crap.
Right. And by redefining what this dating relationship means, countless, and that's not hyperbole, countless Americans can now be attacked through Lautenberg under this bill. Number four, it expands the NICS system by putting juvenile mental health records into NICS. So again, if Johnny, who's 10 years old, his girlfriend dumped him on the playground and he bombed his history test because he didn't believe that George Washington was an evil person, then all of a sudden he tells a counselor at school, man, I hate this place. What's the point of even living anymore? Johnny is deemed suicidal and he's done. He's gone. Eric Burleson, my man, is commenting. We'll get back to you in a moment, friend. Good to see you on here tonight. And finally, it redefines a straw purchase. So, folks, if you sell, transfer, give a gun to somebody who later on uses it to commit a crime, and you should have known that they would do that, that's it. 25 years in the federal penitentiary for you. Look, you can burn Minneapolis, St. Paul to the ground. You'll never set foot in jail. But if you sell a gun to somebody who down the road uses it to commit a quote-unquote felony, like Kyle Rittenhouse was almost deemed a felon, then that's it. You're screwed. 25 years in prison for you. That's a quick recap, folks. It is happening very, very fast.
I wanted to touch on that one thing again about the children's mental health. I think that's really something that a lot of people aren't going to focus in on, but I think it has massive consequences for America, especially 10 or 15 down the road, 10 or 15 years down the road. And that's really what pisses me off about this entire situation is that the Democrats They're thinking long term. Nancy Pelosi knows, I mean, she's what, freaking 112 years old right now. She knows that she'll be dead 15 years from now. Like, statistically speaking, she doesn't have much of a chance of living past 100 years old. But these people are laying foundations here. They're passing legislation that they know they'll be able to expand on, that their colleagues, who will likely still be in office, will be able to expand on down the road. So this one in particular about the kids' mental health, they're combining that with legislation that they're trying to pass at the state legislature level that allows school counselors, social workers to sit down, and mandates them to do this, sit down and have and create a mental health record on each and every student in America. We just defeated that bill in Pennsylvania last week, but one of the people asked a little bit ago, well, doesn't HIPAA cover that stuff? No, because here's why. They're not creating these mental health records under HIPAA. They're doing it under FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This is wide open in comparison to HIPAA. It's so wide open, and quite frankly, that these records are often given to like subcontractors and app developers and curriculum developers for these schools. So what they're going to do is they're going to create the mental health records for millions and millions and millions of students. They're going to grow up. All those records are going to be added into NICS. And if they ever go and see somebody, or if a school counselor or a social worker, not a judge or a jury, make a record note in their records that these people had suicidal thoughts, boom, they're done. Categorically denied. No rights for you. You're denied your right to self-defense in the Second Amendment without you ever being charged, tried, convicted of a crime, and for something that you did or said back in when you were in 10 or 11 or 12 years old. So this is what they're doing. Huh?
Or didn't even say it at all.
Well, yeah. And again, like, we can go back to we can go back to all these massive, nasty programs. They're pumping these kids full of psychotropic drugs. They're pumping them full of gender blockers. They're telling kids at 6 and 7 years old they can have sex changes. They're totally destroying the minds of our youth. And then they're going to go into their mental health records and say, oh, Johnny and Susan are all screwed up. They can't have a gun when they get to legal age. Add it into the FERPA record. Boom, you're done.
This is all part of the plan, folks. This is all what they want to do. This is just a bureaucratic, legislative, and judicial war against your country, against your freedoms. It is all branches. It is all layers. It is right on down to your local freaking school board administrator, folks. Every level of government right now is just chock full of tyrants who want to flex their muscles, big or small. That's what this is. So there is nothing about this that we can sit back on and say, well, we didn't get, at least it wasn't this bad, folks. This is horrible stuff. It is foundational stuff for future gun control. Take a moment today, fire off your email. Tomorrow, call these bastards and tell them to vote no on this. I'm going to pull up that phone number right now while we're talking. I should have it memorized by now, but I don't have it memorized.
222. That's 224. That's all I've got.
I thought you were going to hook me up here, man. You leave me hanging. Hold on one second.
I know Rob Portman's. It's 3353.
202-224-3121. I'll say it again. 202-224-3121. This is the switchboard. Ask for your senator and then call back and ask for your congressman and make your voice heard. Look, here's the thing. A lot of Republicans are backing this, but we saw some names that did not. And the reason for that is because there is a massive amount of pressure being applied right now by AFA members and others all across the country. Rick Scott, for heaven's sakes, who signed red flag laws in Florida, was a no vote on this cloture motion earlier tonight. Chris, you're distracting me and the entire crowd. You're killing me. You're killing me. Marco Rubio, Tiny Hands Marco, was a no vote tonight. There is massive pressure being applied right now by AFA members all across the country. Nothing is over until it's over. Don't let up. Don't give up. Don't get tired. Call them daily. Email them daily. Your congressman, both your senators, all of them. Make your voice heard right away. We will only see this bill expanded if it passes into law. Julia Sense says, where the heck is the NRA? Like we said, Julia, They did a press release about 2 hours ago saying that they were opposed to this. That's a obligatory post to get their donors to not be concerned as to where the hell they've been. But we all know they've been AWOL for 3 weeks, and frankly, they've been AWOL for decades. But specifically, they've been AWOL for weeks in Washington, D.C. Every member of Congress we spoke to said, we have not heard from NRA or any other national gun rights organization in weeks, in months, in some cases. Certainly not the NRA. So, yeah, and like Chris said a little bit ago, they created the environment in which Republican trash balls can vote for this and think they're going to be okay because the NRA has been all but silent on this over the last couple of weeks, specifically in the Capitol. We have new members getting joined up here tonight, guys. Get involved today. Join AFA.org. We've got Julia from Wellsburg, Iowa. Good to see you on here. I've been to Wellsburg. In fact, I've been shooting in Wellsburg, Iowa, and it's quite a place. Bruce in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Been to Pompton Plains, which is right across the street, I believe, from Pompton Lakes. Good to see you here as a member. Very generous membership tonight, Bruce. Thank you very much for that. Got Jacob in Valley Park, Missouri in here tonight. Thank you, sir, for your membership. Andrew from Raytown, Missouri. I've been there too. Good to see you on here, Andrew.
It's like the Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, tonight. Yeah, it's how
I've
it
been
feels.
Everywhere, man.
John in Orlando, Florida, is in the house.
John, thank you.
Here is a long time OGO member, AFA member, my good friend, Chris's good friend, Ryan from Asheville, Ohio. You can say his last name, Chris, if you want to. Actually, he's commenting right now. I'm just going to say it. Ryan Marlowe. The guy's not afraid of nothing. Ryan Marlowe here tonight as a new member. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. We've got Andrew in New Ringgold, Pennsylvania, as a new member to AFA tonight. Thank you very much, all of you, for getting involved in this fight, guys. How about a shout out for us in Southeast Ohio, says Steve. Lots of AFA members.
Man, I'm so proud of my brothers and sisters in Ohio. Like every day.
I misspoke. He said Idaho, man. I misspoke. He said, how about a shout out to all of our members in Idaho? I misspoke. You're right. Tons of new members in Idaho. We saw a bunch of them commenting earlier tonight. My good friend Doug Nickel was commenting earlier. Would you give us the number again for Congress, says Rich Patty. Yeah, I will do it right now. It's 202-224-3121. Again, 202-224-3121. It's the switchboard. Give them your address. They'll hook you up, and they'll get you right to your congressman and, of course, your U.S. senators based on what state that you live in. There's a lot of comments in here about the impact of SEPA and what SEPA would do. Earlier tonight, 5 minutes ago, we had my fantastic friend Eric Burleson, the state senator from Missouri, lead sponsor on Missouri's Stand Your Ground law, Castle Doctrine Expansion law, constitutional carry, and the Second Amendment Preservation Act, which is going to be heard again in federal court in a couple of weeks. We'll be there on behalf of AFA. A lot of questions on SEPA. So SEPA would do a lot to negate this stuff, because what SEPA does is tells the states have the power to tell the feds, rather, we're not going to enforce your tyranny. This is our state. It's our constitution. It's our citizens. It's our cops, our troopers, our deputies, our city cops, and we're not going to let them be used as pawns in a federal tyrannical gun control grab. That's what SEPA does. That's why it's so damn hot in Missouri, because Joe Biden and Merrick Garland know if it spreads across the country, all of this in Red America, poof, it's a cloud of dust, and we can stop much of this with SEPA. That's not the point of tonight's video. We'll be much more on SEPA in our red states in the future here, guys, but there's definitely state level fights that we can make, and we'll be doing that. But first and foremost, let's try and shut this crap down tonight, now, this week in the state, in the U.S. Capitol. There's so many comments I'm reading right now. It's hard to hit them all at the same time. Yeah, it's coming to Georgia. Absolutely, Ray. It's coming to Georgia. I guarantee that. SAPA needs to be made stronger, says Anthony. Not sure what state you're in, my friend. If you're in Wyoming, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Because GOA screwed us.
Yeah, just so
in
everybody
Wyoming.
knows, the GOA has become choke artists at the state legislative level. They screwed gun owners in Wyoming, like you wouldn't even believe. So
horrible.
And somebody just asked Chris Dorhouse, SAPA in Ohio coming along. That's House Bill 62 by Mike Loychik. We're ramping up for a massive push on that right now, brother. But just beware, if GOA comes in and starts sticking their nose in on SAPA, we have to watch out, because they will water it down. They will betray gun owners like they've done in other states now. So massive fight coming. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, guys. Again, this is happening live. This is in real time. The vote on cloture was earlier tonight, or the introductory vote rather was earlier tonight, and it's going to happen fast. Doug says, for those who don't know, AFA, the team AFA is fellow patriots. They're not asking for money to make a living. They're trying to fight the establishment enemy. Now's the time. Inflation sucks, but your donation tonight goes a lot more than your tank of gas or diesel. Donate today. Thank you, Doug. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I appreciate your support. And Doug has seen the impact of AFA's state affiliate in Idaho, ISAA, which has just, God, they've crushed every rhino in the state. They've passed every bill they've ever tried to pass. Phenomenal work in Boise. Honored to be a part of that over the years. But guys, again, a lot happening. It's going to happen real fast. We're going to have more video updates for you tomorrow. It's been a heck of a big day, a heck of a big night. Fire off your email. Get involved in this fight at joinafa.org. One last roll call for all of our most recent members and renewals. Andrew in New Ringgold, PA. Is that 2 tonight from New Ringgold? I think it's 2 in a row.
I think so. It's 2.
New Ringgold. We got Daniel in Gouldsboro, Pennsylvania. I might have butchered that a little bit. I'm not sure. We got Jim in Pennsylvania. It doesn't say what city. That's okay. My good friend Heath in Dickens, Iowa, in the house tonight. Thank you so much for that. James, I know James well in Laramie. I recognize your name well. James in Laramie, Wyoming, in the house tonight at joinafa.org. Thank you all for getting involved in this fight. We're going to have much more tomorrow, more videos, more emails, a lot more coming for tonight. Fire off that email, make your voice heard, join our fight. Be back tomorrow with more information.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.